So the purpose of today's video is to demonstrate the current functionality of VIZRAD AR. VIZRAD AR works within an operating system on the Microsoft HoloLens, and when I want to begin the process, I come over here and I push this button, which will launch VIZRAD AR. When I launch VIZRAD AR, it goes through a brief loading process, at which point you'll see these white dots that will appear in front of your face that are currently working on loading the application that we've created so far. Give these just a few moments here to load. Okay, here we go. So right now we have two sources that have appeared here in front of me. These sources are a realistic impression of radiological activity around a source. These sources were calculated, the radiological transport calculations performed in scale, giving us a realistic dose projection as to what would be around these sources. Now, these sources can be moved and placed throughout. All I have to do is reach out with my finger, pinch slowly, and you'll see I lock onto the source, and I can hold it and I can drag it wherever I would like to place this source. So in this case here, I'm going to go ahead and place this behind me. You'll notice in the bottom right corner there that this window is constantly changing. This window is my total dose total dose rate that my body is accumulating averaged out over my height. So it does take into account different heights and different things. So I can go ahead and I can align these different sources here. I can come over and I can grab these sources and I can move them wherever I want throughout an environment. And you'll note my dose rates are changing as I'm doing that. These sources are dynamic in their placement, but the dose rate and the magnitude will be static. As of this time right now, there is no way to currently manipulate or change the dose rate for a particular source. However, that is something that will be coming for the final release of this project. Once I have these sources positioned in place, I'm going to go ahead and align this one over this bucket here. Once I have these sources positioned in place, I let go of them. I can hold my hand up, bring up this menu, and select this lock button. Now, as I'm traveling around the environment, you're going to see my dose rate is constantly changing. At this point, I am getting dose accumulation, or I'm being exposed to dose from multiple sources at the same time. This dose rate is constantly changing and moving as I move throughout the environment. I have the ability to turn one of these off if I want, if I only want to work with one source, or I can leave them both up. We will be adding additional sources and different things as we move forward here. But as part of this introductory offer right now, as it sits, there are two. Now, interestingly enough, being a simulator company, we have tied these to our simulated hardware. In this case, this Model 9 DP that you see here in front of me. Now, the interesting thing is, as I'm standing here in proximity to the source, you're going to note I'm getting my total body rate. But when I take this meter I put out in front of me, you're going to see it jump up, even though I have not moved. That's because it's now showing the dose rate being communicated to this instrument. So as I come in here and I move forward, you're going to see this meter start to respond. It's going to start to climb up. The difference in dose rate on the meter versus the window is mostly due to the response time of the meter. If I don't want to display that dose rate, I'm going to go ahead and set this meter down for a moment. If I don't want to display this dose rate, I can simply come up here, select this button, push it, and disable that. So now my trainees cannot see that. So as I travel through this environment, I can take readings with my meter all the way down to contact. And I can do that with each of these different sources that are in this area here. In the case of this particular source right here, I place it over a bucket, and the reason why I did that is the scale calculation for this was performed based upon a 5-gallon bucket that was irradiated, that was full of water in an unshielded container. And this is what the scale radiological transport calc revealed. Now these different ISO contours here, they are not just pretty colors, they do have meaning to them. So we basically took them and we took the magnitude of the source, and as you start traveling further and further away, they are 1/10 and then 1/100th and then 1/1000th of the total dose right there. So it gives you an idea of what those different barriers are. And this here is 9.2, 11 MR per hour. Come forward a little more. It's going to climb up more and more and more until we get down to our contact reading here. At this point now, I can set the meter down, but this will allow you to do different survey exercises using both simulated meters, to body dosimetry, and anything else within this environment. As far as down the road, things we're looking to add, it's hard to exactly pinpoint what will be included in this first run. It's going to obviously depend upon development and time and things of that nature, but things we're looking at adding down the road are different source geometries. Like I mentioned, the different magnitudes of the sources. When I do that, when I take those different geometries, you're going to see these shapes are going to appear much different. So we'll be looking at those sorts of things. We're hoping to be able to add isotopes and different isotopes and their impact on the radiological transport calculations, along with some other things, different energy types, possibly the effects of shielding, possibly contamination, but a lot of these are down the road and will not be part of this first release, but they are things that we're eyeballing for the future. We'd love to hear your feedback on this system and see where this goes. If any questions, please get a hold of me. Jason O'Connell, my number is 412-798-3636, and my email is jason@teletrix.com. Thank you very much.